Hey, what's up? It's time to make a new batch of hot sauce, and things are gonna get weird. Let's go.
All right, we have a pile of peppers here. We have habaneros, Fresnos, yellow bell peppers, and then we have some slightly more interesting ingredients. We got bananas. This is a first for me. We have strawberries. Used them a few times. They're always great in a hot sauce, if you ask me. And then pineapple. We're basically making a smoothie. Of course, we're gonna add this array of hot peppers. They're not the best looking peppers I've ever had. It's February, I'm in Colorado. The store has limited selection. My garden's not producing, but first thing we're gonna do here is just get our fruits cut up. So cut up the strawberries. You can just pull the heads off. I'm lazy, so I'm cutting them off. I'm wasting a little bit of strawberry. I'm sorry. Now the bananas. So I've never used banana in hot sauce before, but I've eaten hot sauces with bananas and they're delicious. Again, I'm going for this kind of smoothie theme. Pineapple, all you gotta do, cut the top off, cut the bottom off, cut the sides off. You wanna get all those eyes basically so you don't have any hard spots. And then I'm gonna slice it into circles so I can stack them and have a nice smooth flat surface, because this is slimy and greasy. Slimy's not the right word. Greasy's not the right word. It's slippery, all right? But yeah, I'm tossing everything right into the blender cup as I go, just so that I don't have to use an intermediary dish. At this point, we are about ready to blend. I have just the fruit so far. I want to add vinegar because we need a liquid in the blender. We can't just use the blender with the fruit. We could. It won't be as smooth a blend. I'm going to put about 8 ounces of white wine vinegar in here. This is really just to make sure that we have a good acidity, but not too tangy of a flavor. That's why I like to use the white wine and the red wine vinegars. I'm going to get my lid on here, make sure it's secure, and blend it up. All I'm really trying to do here is get a pretty smooth blend because I'm going to add the peppers in just a few minutes. So bell peppers, take the top off, take the guts out. You don't really want the seeds involved here. They're just going to add texture and bitterness, right? So slice up 2 yellow bell peppers and toss those directly into the blender cup. No big deal. Excellent knife skills. Why, thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to go through the Fresnos. These have so many seeds in them. That's my only complaint about Fresnos. Great flavor, but they are so seedy. So I'm trying to take some of the seeds out. Popular myth, people think the seeds are where the heat is in a pepper. Not true. It's in the membrane. The seeds just get coated in oil because they're attached to the membrane. So seeds are actually kind of bitter and chewy, so I don't want too many of them in the sauce. The blender will take care of some, but not all. Cut these into small pieces. They're all ready to go directly into the blender cup. Let's clean up this mess a little bit, and then we will cut up the habaneros. My top-down camera failed. You can see it's sitting there, but it wasn't recording. So here you get to look at my shoulder and my elbow while I cut up 16 fresh using air quotes, habaneros. I got these from the grocery store. Again, they didn't have many that looked great, so I spent a good 2 or 3 minutes picking through just to find 16 that I could feel okay about buying. Keeping out any of the black or gross looking stuff, and we're ready to go. Blend this all up. Again, we're really just trying to start combining ingredients. We're going to stop here in a second and add a few more things so it doesn't have to be perfect on this initial blend. That color is not great, admittedly, right? Not the best looking thing I've ever seen. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of fresh cumin and a tablespoon and a half of super hot pepper powders. So those are from things like Carolina Reapers, Tang Star, Sriracha Hornets, really hot stuff. I'm also going to add some more vinegar, in this case red wine vinegar. I want to combine the red and the white wine vinegars, about another 6 ounces of that. Blend that up just to kind of combine it all and get it to a good consistency. And now you're really going to want to beat it up. I just run it on 3 or high speed for a couple of minutes. Keep my hand on the lid because I don't trust lids. I want to make sure I don't have a terrible accident. It's starting to come together. It's not the prettiest color I've ever seen, but I think once we start cooking it, that should really start to look a little bit nicer. Looks like a smoothie though. All right, let's pour this into a saucepan. I use the stainless steel one. That's nice. You can see it's pretty thick, but that's fine. I'm going to add about another 8 ounces of water here to help clean out the container, as well as to add some more liquid to our sauce. So that looks good. And then I'm also going to add about another 6 to 8 ounces of white wine vinegar. So we want to make sure there's plenty of acidity in this sauce because it does have a lot of sugars. Stir that together with a whisk, get that heat going. You're going to want to bring this to a boil. So use high heat at first. Now it's nice and boiling. You can go ahead and turn the heat down. You're going to want to let that simmer for 15 to 20 minutes.
It smells amazing in this kitchen right now.
Let that simmer for a bit, and it's really reduced down. You can see we've lost a lot of that liquid, and I'm excited. It smells amazing. While that was cooking, I also took the time to clean up after myself. That's a really good thing to learn. While something is going that you're just waiting on, do something else. I'm going to get my bottles cleaned up. You can see I pulled out a dozen of them because I had roughly 60 ounces of sauce in that blender. I anticipate a lot of that has cooked down, so I probably won't need all 12. I'll probably need 9 or 10. You want to make sure these are really good and clean, and then I sanitize them as well. I'm also going to strain this, mostly because I want to get the last few seeds out, as many as I can. This is a slow process. You got to kind of work it through a strainer. You want to get as much of that thick sauce pushed through, and I'm actually going to add some of that pulp back in just to get the consistency perfect. Use a little xanthan gum here. That also will help as a binding agent to make sure that your vinegar and your solids don't start to separate. And we're ready to bottle, right? So I've got sterilized bottles, a sterilized funnel. I'm going to just pour these out and see how many I can fill and try not to make a huge mess. The magic of time lapse. Hey, look at that. All 10 are filled up, ended up with about 50 ounces of hot sauce. Put your sterilized caps on the bottles. I like to flip them upside down just to make sure that hot sauce, hot because it's still really darn hot. These bottles are not fun to touch with your fingers. So there it is. We've got 50 ounces of sauce. There's only a few things we have left to do here, right? We need to go ahead and get some labels on it, make it look beautiful. And after this, we'll take a taste. I called it Just Add Rum because it really reminds me of a smoothie, and what's the best thing you can add to a smoothie? It's tropically hot sauce from Sauce and Spice. That's me. And I'm excited to give this a taste.
It smells really good. Tangy but fruity. See how it tastes. That's amazing. Really, really smooth sweetness across the front. You get a touch of that banana. The pineapple and the strawberry work really well together to give you some tartness with that vinegar. The heat creeps up a little bit. The habaneros are definitely making themselves known, and the flavor of that Fresno is fantastic.